Hey you! If you clicked on this video, you're probably wondering why Rhythm doesn't deal damage, why her sanity costs are so high, why she does nothing until C6, yada yada yada. Well, it's simply because she's garbage. Your waifu is garbage at bossing and even worse at farming than Rebecca. You should play a real DPS like Lyn or Psyche instead. And all of this would be true if you were building her wrong. I'm 3D4, and I'm going to show you how to play Rhythm the only scientifically correct way. Jokes aside though, of course you can build her however you want, and the way you have the most fun is the correct way to play. This video is just to show you how I play and explain why I build her the way I build her. Now, if you are in the Duet Night Abyss official Discord, you know that I am a super big fan of Rhythm. I've made spreadsheets comparing weapons, wedges, and I've done speedruns and tested out everything I could think of. And the number one thing that bothers me is the common misconception that my anime waifu isn't good. So, I made this video to prove that everyone is wrong and that I'm right and that my waifu is better than yours. And also because I got accused of cheating, which is the biggest compliment you could ever give a gamer. So, before I show you my build, I'm going to go over Rhythm's abilities, starting with her most important one, the passive. Rhythm's passive, Tactical Preservation, converts the sanity she uses into electrical energy, storing it for use later. At max level, this conversion rate is 100%, meaning that if you use 100 sanity, you gain 100 electrical energy. This passive is basically sort of like a second sanity bar, except you can only use it on your basic ability, but we'll get back to that later. Her second passive, Power Off Anxiety, converts half the electric energy she uses back into sanity. So, if you consume 100 electrical energy, you gain 50 sanity. These two passives combined make up the core of her gameplay. You spend sanity to make energy, and you spend energy to make sanity. But 3D, how does she use electric energy? This is where Rhythm's basic ability comes in. Rhythm's ability, Volt Rush, is a omnidirectional dash that deals damage to enemies along its path. When Volt Rush is empowered, it deals more damage, travels faster, and gives Rhythm a buff that increases all her damage for 9 seconds. To empower her Volt Rush, all you have to do is cast it while you have at least 30 electric energy. Once you have unlocked her second passive, Power Off Anxiety, an empowered Volt Rush creates 15 sanity by consuming 30 electric energy. This means that with 0% skill efficiency, an empowered Volt Rush effectively costs 5 sanity to cast. This ability is the core of Rhythm's high DPS gameplay. It also has all sorts of tricks to use the momentum, animation cancels, combinations with other movement abilities like Piercing Ascent, etc. I will not be going over this in this video, but you get the gist. And while people mainly see this ability as pure mobility, it's actually a majority of Rhythm's bossing damage and how we nuke tanky elite mobs in high-level missions. A 5-cost sanity, 2000% base damage ability with a 90% damage boost buff is kind of insane, and when you're looking at Rhythm's kit from a surface level, you don't really see how much and how quickly we can spam this ability. And while I have a video of me fighting level 70 bosses on my channel, I am currently only TR 58 while making this video, and I can't record my own against level 80 bosses. But here is a video from Lee from the Duet Night Abyss official Discord fighting level 80 Sybil and beating her in about 20 seconds to demonstrate. And finally, her last ability, Electro Vortex. The in-game description has a lot of words and a lot of numbers, but basically it applies a damage over time to a random enemy within 50 meters every second. With Intron 2, this ability becomes a map wipe because it can chain lightning onto enemies as long as you can eliminate them before the debuff expires. If you have enough damage, it will just eliminate them in hordes. It is basically like Malzahar from League of Legends, except if his E did all of its damage up front instead of over time. At Intron 2, you can start toggling this ability on and off to conserve sanity because you can just eliminate targets to pass the debuff on, instead of letting this ability drain all of your sanity. In boss fights or against elite mobs, you actually only turn this ability on to ensure that you have enough electric energy to keep spamming your Volt Rush. When you have too much, you want to turn the ability off, use all of your electric energy, and then continue. Alright, now on to the actual build. The build I use focuses on increasing her morale, skill damage, attack, and skill duration. And if you'd like to know the math behind why we use morale wedges, join the Duet Night Abyss official Discord because it's boring to explain and I don't want people to click off the video because they just don't want to see the math. And the basic answer is basically, the more you spread out your damage stats, the more they multiply each other. Now, if you're wondering why I don't use any skill efficiency wedges, it's because the less sanity our abilities cost, the less electric energy we make, the less electric energy we make, the less empowered Volt Rushes we can cast, and the less empowered Volt Rushes we can cast, the less damage we can do. It is a huge damage nerf to socket skill efficiency on Rhythm in high-level content. You might as well socket max sanity instead of including efficiency. We only really need sanity and sanity skill efficiency when we are playing low-level content, like level 40 covert commissions, farming for wedges, gold, character ascension materials, all the stuff where we don't really need that much damage and we just want to toggle on our ultimate while we focus on gathering all the loot. If you want to see the full build including weapons, wedges, my support units, you can check it out on boarhat.gg. I have it linked in the description. But that's all I really have to say on how to play Rhythm. Here's a video of me clearing chase level 80 solo at trial rank 58 in 6 minutes and 40 seconds. In that video, I'll be demonstrating the build in actual gameplay, as well as some of the movement and speedrun tricks that I use to make my chase farm go faster. If you want to learn these movement tricks, ask someone else, because I don't really want to explain it. Again, it is in the official Duet Night Abyss Discord. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye. Alright, I've explained the build, now I'll show you how it all goes together. You can ignore all the movement text I'm doing right now. I'll try to explain those later. So the first combat tech that I'm going to show you is called E Crouch Cancel. We're going to Volt Rush and then immediately cancel it with our crouch button. This ends the animation early so that we can use another Volt Rush immediately afterward. And yeah, so that's our actual single target burst damage. The reason I used E Crouch Cancel there is because I was actually running low on ammo, so I couldn't use the primary version of our Volt Rush Cancel, which I'm about to do with this next elite mob. So our primary cancel is with right mouse button. You can actually just hold it while you spam E. But as you can see here, it's much smoother, much faster. I don't travel as far. The main thing is that I didn't have ammo. I didn't have ammo because I was using it with a movement tech. So I didn't have time to reload after I started my ult animation. I didn't want to waste sanity by reloading when I could have been E spamming. Another reason we'd use the crouch cancel is if we're playing in multiplayer. In multiplayer, the crouch cancel is just much more consistent than the right mouse button cancel. Alright, so this part's pretty chill. I don't have any combat text to really show. So let me try to explain the movement text that I'm using. So it's actually possible to carry the momentum from our Volt Rush and just fly across the sky. That's how I'm moving across the map so quickly. The first way is to Volt Rush and then right mouse button. You can reload right after to prevent you from just spamming bullets and running out of ammo in combat. But it's just E and then a right click as soon as the dash starts, right? The other way to cancel and then carry the momentum, and this is much faster, it's just it has an extra step, and it can only be used when you have Piercing Ascent as the Demon Wedge. Now, Piercing Ascent is a Demon Wedge from the Immersive Theater. It's one of the rewards. Unnecessary to get because we're already playing Rhythm, but it can be combined with her Volt Rush to do some pretty neat stuff. So for other characters, they can only do this tech when they are sliding off of a ledge, but Rhythm can do this anywhere. And this tech is, we press E, we charge the Piercing Ascent, and at any point during the flight path of our E, you can start this tech. So you E and then hold your charged attack. As soon as you see the animation play out, you can cancel that with a right click and it'll shoot you like a bullet. It is actually faster than some of the projectiles on the ranged weapons. So I think people on Reddit have been calling it the bullet jump, or I don't know. It's pretty simple. You just have to get used to the rhythm of it. But it's really useful because unlike other characters, we can do this wherever. We can do this midair. We don't have to be on like a special platform or anything to achieve this. So yeah, I've actually been seeing a lot of people say that like, oh, Rhythm's so useless because we have Piercing Ascent, like my Nightfall and Psyche can clear this mission faster than you can. And I'm like, well, first you're lying, and second of all, no, you're slower than me. So so if you've noticed, I haven't really ran out of sanity. I will run out of sanity here just because I'm playing a specific way. I'm not diving into the enemies and conserving my sanity or anything. I'm not looking to pick up any potions. Here I'm just looking for keys. So I'm just leaving my ult on passively. Previously, if you saw during any of the combat phases I was in, I actually toggle my ultimate on and off pretty often. It's because during Rhythm's ult, once you have I2, it becomes less like a shock every 1 second, right? It actually performs more like a Malzahar Malefic Visions, if you're familiar with League of Legends. And it passes the debuff that your ultimate applies onto the next enemy as long as you can kill it before the timer on it expires. And it actually works with duration, so theoretically you could make it go forever while not even activating your ultimate. As long as there's an enemy tanky enough to survive the final hit of the chain lightning, and you can eliminate it within like 9 seconds, I believe the debuff is with 12% skill duration, then you don't really have to reuse that. So that's how I conserve sanity. A lot of people seem to think she has sanity issues, but she really doesn't. The ultimate really is just creating fuel for E-spam. Another tip I have is when we're E-spamming, make sure that you're watching that bar and try not to E when you don't have at least 30 energy, because that's actually how you burn through it. It's not the passive, but from like leaving your Q on, it's from accidentally casting your E while not having any energy. So instead of costing 5 sanity, it would cost the full 20. So I know that was a lot in 6 minutes. If you guys need me to break down Rhythm's gameplay even more, then I guess I could do like a slower video where we pause during all the text. But I hope that explains how to play her.